Hello! Kimber from Moksha Yoga and Wellness here. Excited to start teaching some more pranayamas or some yogic and ayurvedic breathing techniques. The one that I have for us today is called Bastrika, or the bellows breath. This is really great in my personal practice right now for grief as we come up on the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina and the loved ones that I lost during that time, growing up in South Louisiana during that terrible storm. But the reason that Bastrika works on grief is its main site of action is the lungs, and the lungs is actually where we store grief in the body. So this practice is really great for unclogging stuff there. So that can be mental, emotional stuff like grief, but that can also mean, asthma, mucus, a lot of kapha type conditions that make heaviness in the chest. This practice also improves our Agni, our digestive fire, which basically everyone could benefit from a little boost of. Really good for circulation. I just kind of view this practice as out with the old, in with the new. Fresh, brand new prana being pumped into our bodies. That's so beneficial. So, with any pranayama, you want to be practicing with a straight spine, preferably seated comfortably. I'm on my meditation cushion, but you could also do this seated from a chair. And the general contraindications for all pranayamas, if you are pregnant or menstruating, if you've recently had surgery, any sort of hernias, extremely high or low blood pressure, or any sort of like acute illness where you're just not well, just give these practices a break. Do something a little more mild, maybe a meditation or just some deep belly breaths. So for Bastrika, I like to take my hands to the tops of my knees. That's totally optional because really what we're thinking about is we want to entirely inflate the lungs, our biggest, deepest inhale, and then entirely deflate our lungs, totally empty of air, going to both extremes of what our lungs are capable of. So to do that, I kind of like to rock my body almost like a little bit of a cat-cow spine to just help facilitate that movement of air in and out. So our inhales and our exhales are both going to be through the nose, but this is just the deepest, fullest inhale until you feel like you're getting air all the way down into these bottom lobes of your lungs is really what we're after. The exhale, same thing. It's going to be much more of an exhale than you're used to in your normal everyday breath. So really trying to empty the air out of the lungs entirely, really squeezing it out of the last little bit. Some folks, when they practice this pranayama, they even wheeze a little bit at the bottom of that exhale because they're really actually getting all the air out of their lungs. So I'll demonstrate a few, break it down some more, and then we can practice together. So you notice these breaths are really forceful. If you've got any snot in your nose, it's definitely going to come out. So sometimes practicing with a handkerchief or a rag can be helpful. So it's a little bit faster, a little bit more forceful. Remember, it's called the bellows breath. So you can imagine like bellows on a fire, just pumping, 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 pumping. So when we practice this, I recommend starting with 2 rounds of 10 breaths, one breath being an inhale and an exhale. And really taking a moment in between those rounds to just kind of settle. Close the eyes, let your breath return to normal before you start into that second round. So you can work this all the way up to 2 rounds of 50 even if you'd like. That's a lot, and this practice can be a little bit heating. So if you have a lot of that fire energy, that pitta-ness in you, maybe take it easy. But for kapha folks, this is fantastic. Springtime, fantastic practice to focus on. And that doesn't mean that if you have pitta, you can never do Bastrika. Just means we want to balance it with our other lifestyle choices, maybe balance it even with a more cooling pranayama. So let's do 1 round of 10 together. So start with a tall, straight spine, rooting down through your sit bones, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe the hands come to the top of the knees. Start by just exhaling slowly, deeply, completely. Once your lungs are empty, we'll start with those forceful, complete inhales and exhales. Taking a moment to settle, notice what's here. So that's a perfect starting place. If you'd like to continue with another round of 10, you're more than welcome. Or you're also welcome to slowly build this practice, working up to 2 rounds of 50, maybe even, perhaps. Thank you so much for practicing with me. May you be well. Namaste.